Unfortunately, the videotapes are old. There is distortion, particularly with the reds. That was a young Tim Constable, 1991. And that is George Warr, who made all this possible. This is steamy up bay. I think that's Roger Athy with his back to us. Ken Wicks was there. There's, it looks like Nathan, but it couldn't be. Keith Bain, of course. This is Thunderchild, which I think was owned by someone else apart from the Bowrings at this stage, because later on it gets taken away. Little Boy Blue, Bill Abbott. See the reds there. That's a general view of the lake. Looks like Fred Wrigley's Black Douglas with Roger Athy driving. Keith Bain, Alex Algie photographing the G class.
Well, how do you get that in the centre that way? You've got a central that way.
Charlie having an animated discussion with Keith, Dick Travers, Keith, and Ken Elliott.
What you've got to do is to move that in so that that pin coincides with that position there. The pin's not there at the moment, but you can run it up to the end there. You've got a hand wheel index on your lead screw.
This is the building of the embankment. You'll see more progress later on. Obviously need Bill Hogan's skills here. Right, there's a shot of the compound with Peter Bateman doing some exercises. You can see the rails have yet to be placed on the pillars in the steaming up bay. 1991. Service station in the background on the other side of Belmore Road. No gate. No doorway into the loco shed. There's Fred Wrigley with Black Douglas. I think that's little Peter Johnson pulling his tools of trade towards him. You can see the wall is now coming along, the sleepers are in place, and later on filling was put in to level it all off. Right, this is the loco shed, which was part workshop in those days. Of course, we didn't have that many locos as we do today. There's Ken Constable, Ken Wicks again with his traditional gumboots. That's how they joined the rails up, with an earthing strap. That's for Peter. Charlie again. That could be Tom Thorpe. This is the beginning of the seats made from an axle. You'll see a speeded up version. Instant paint, instant seating. See the bus stop is in place, never been moved. I don't know who that person is getting up there. The ladder is certainly more than 2 metres. This is the carriage shed, or bunker as I like to call it. It was our workshop area as well. There's some of those lovely drop arm signals, which would be nice to see back in action. I don't know who built them, but they're a beautiful job. I think that's the Titanic sitting on the lake. There's no little islands in.
They're going too far.
Neil Howley, Jeff Swindley. I don't know that person. Obviously fitting up a tyre. This is Bob Stanning's loco driving. Once again, don't know. Bill Abbott, Bob, Keith and Ken Constable. There's Bob, proudly driving his new acquisition. This is just a shot of the flowers. They've always been a feature of the Box Hill Club. Peter Johnson was chief gardener in those days. Now it's Clive Manley. This is fitting the thing up on the top of the bunker. I don't know who it was. There's Charlie. George Warr, I mean. I don't know who was driving Bill Abbott's loco that day. There's no track around to the back of the carriage shed there. The council came in and did some work on the lake. It's always been a bit of a problem. Later on they put a membrane and about a foot of clay over it. It still kept filling and emptying. There's a good sweeping view. This is a very long train. Tony Richardson, the guard. Ken Constable driving the G. There's the membrane.
The weight of the soil.
I think that's Peter Johnson. This was a visit up to John Beckett's place at Bendigo by the club. He's got a tramway, and you see various people we know driving trams. Obviously some problem. Here's a bit older Tim, 1992 now. Neil Howie, Ron Falknell. Landscape work. So smoothing out the clay on the lake. It's George again.
A celebration, so
Fred.
Bill was most concerned
Alex.
that he needed a birthday.
Algae.
So he decided that he'd make one for him. And so he has. So if you was as a cook,
This is
and you didn't have enough
Ken's
so he put
70th birthday.
70 watts of light on the day.
70 watts.
You got one out. You got
Good on you.
Now, I've got a card signed by most of the fellas that
Jim
regularly come here. But when Bill was fooling around with this cake here,
Very good.
Watch this. Oops. Nearly lost it. Obviously Margaret's hands in there somewhere.
oh, lovely. So there you are. That's what the fellas think.
We want to speak.
It's getting slower and slower and slower.
The music.
Right, the 25th anniversary of the 21st.
Working on the tender for the D57 by the look of it, and that's also the tender for Springbok next to it. That's what's used to kill the weeds around the place.
George, you've been told today.
You're going to give the conscience that's the trouble. You never said anything.
This is some sort of war dance.
sauce.
Probably a Christmas party. Bob. Keith.
The year of the lake because
Rob
the
Constable.
lakes now are holding water after such a long, long time. And we hope they continue. But for what you do,
Yeah, Tom
I
Thorpe.
thank our own members for what they contribute and not doing perhaps all the chores they should do.
Ken Elliott.
Tom here is present as a member of the Boxham Interstem Railway Society and not as mayor. And Dorothy is present as Tom's wife and not as Lady Mayoress. I'd like to
Mary
thank
Bain.
Mary for what you do. That too. There's someone else who puts in a great deal of effort, but it's mostly in.
Push K36 back a bit. So wait and see. We can get, yep.
Bill and Varknall putting the cabin on Springbok.
Quite cold. Is it? Just the water was coming out, that's all. See if you can see it. What are you looking at? Right in line where I thought you said it was. Yeah. That's the side cover. So I'll have a look at the other side.
Neil Howley. Good aerial shot from obviously the top of the station roof. The island was added to the lake much later. This is laying the aluminium railing. Looks like Neil Oxley sitting down there. I don't know which boiler this is, certainly not the club one. So Ken doing a boiler inspection.
Lovely.
Oh, what's for the diesel fitter?
Never mind diesel, we got diesel feather. Yeah.
This is preparing the track, which the secret of a good track, which is why we have one of the best. This was part of the replacement of the aluminium with steel.
We've got a back, upside down. Righto, that's fine. Now, somebody look after the truck. We're going up to the station platform.
That's Ken Elliott, Alex, Charlie Croft. Well, this is a smoke from Jeff McPherson's logo. You'll see more of this later. There's Ken Elliott. Tony Richardson, I think this is one of the locos he built. Very small loco. You'll see it called on to do a Herculean task in a minute. What's the power to weight ratio there, I wonder?
Say hello to Bill Abbott.
There's Ken.
G'day, George. It's George. How are you?
It's Bill Abbott who'll be seeing me.
Mary, Tony. Now this is Jeff. I don't know what he burns in that thing, but Peter Bateman's not too impressed. No number one platform as yet. Obviously needing for signal to keep the distances. Ken Brown there. Joy standing next to Ken Wicks. An award to George Warr at the RSL, Albert Park. This is LG feeding the ducks, which obviously they're quite used to him.
Covered me with water, you know. It's a trap for young players. I mean, you never think a bit of dirt with water pressure, mains pressure on one side of it and nothing on the other. You'd think it would just blow out, but it didn't.
Waiting a very long time for this announcement.
I don't know what
Just
this
been
was.
talking to government about our campaign to have the number of minutes in the hour reduced from 60 to 45, and they won't be in it. So we've got two options now. We can either strike now or we can refuse to do any further work until they agree to our claims. What's it going to be? Strike it is.
Paris, Simpleton, Vienna, Istanbul, and Fitzroy. All aboard, please.
Now you know what you're doing. You've got to make the train announcements like this. I'll show you how it's done. You need a bit of training.
I don't know who this is.
Car passenger train in the station? You haven't got 8 cars. You've only got 1. What? What? Holy mackerel, where's the
A much fitter Fred Wrigley.
Manufacturing replicas of old locomotives and the fun of driving them afterwards.
What about the public? What are they doing here?
They come along and they love to ride on the trains.
What are they worth? Hey, stop the train. Stop. Oh, penalty race. Oh, cancel maternity leave. Come back. Number...
Looks like the Keystone Cops. Right, renovating the signal box. Pulling the post out for some reason. I think there's... I don't think there are trees there anymore. I think this would be one of Ken Elliott's, Ken Constable's relations. Granddaughter, perhaps. Charlie doing a bit of welding. Now, Peter's into the cable business now. And that was 18 years ago. 17 anyway. There's young Tim. Well, this is where they had the vandals in, and they tore up the track. I mean, they must have used a four-wheel drive or something, 'cause it's always been a problem, vandalism. Anyway, we decided to put some fence and gates in. This is the one of the gate posts for the main gate, which is still there, by the way. First post going in. And the second one.
Oh, that's lovely. Move your head around.
Margaret Abbott, Mary Bain. Bill giving orders. That's his 422 New South Wales logo, I think. It's John Ski. More track work. More steel for aluminium. The yabbies were always a good source in the lake. Just a shot of the station area. Those bushes have all gone now.
Tony's got it.
There's Ken supervising the levels and that. See the new rail there, the old rail.
Okay, down and in, this order.
Neil Howley, but I don't know who that is. They're just the genes.
Yep. Right, so we're rising that much now.
Okay.
Will they both go on there, do you reckon?
Charlie Croft was a track making person. There's Alan Williams sitting on the train.
Down.
There's Big Peter Johnson. Still going, I believe. Here's where $1 per ride.
$7. Thank you. You can have as many as you like, my love. They're all the same for you for today. Yes, double right. That doesn't come in with increases in accordance as you like. That's right.
The ladies in the kiosk. Neil, Alex, Tim, two
And the
Neils.
child was fast asleep without.
This is business about it going back to Bendigo. This is the track bed preparation under the bridge. Gives you an idea of how much work goes into this.
Obstructing your vision, are we?
Little bit more when you get home to.
Oh, yes, he's right.
I've got this thing down 105. I've never been picked up on that.
Drainage down the middle of the tracks, under the bridge again. That's the started the foundations for the compressor.
4. The sleepers have arrived and been stacked, and the rail arrived today and is also being... Or wheeling the stuff backwards and forwards. Good show, Matthew. Good.
Matthew.
For the record, we received and stacked 309. I say again, 309 lengths of rail.
These are the two bridge supports for the channel between the lakes. All galvanised.
Yeah.
And it has not rained yet. By Saturday night, the 8th, it looked like this. And we come now to Tuesday, the praying mantis has been at work.
This is the liner which went into the new small lake. And the same machine dug the channel between the two.
Right up to the edge of the creek, except just where the unit is working at the moment, in which case it was well beaten down earth. Rather warm, no sign of rain, but 3 of the holes in danger of falling in had to have sheet metal liners put on them.
This is for the bridge supports.
We haven't got the what in there yet. Base. What are you doing now?
And down on the next run day, we need you on the station.
Never mind the next run day.
Doris.
Come down today, please, quick.
On the ground, are you? Yes. I'm not lifting much. Oh. All right, come on over your arm.
Were settled down on their foundations and track in position and even welded before a rather late lunch.
There's your narrator, hard at work. This is bending the rail for the bends, curves rather. Black Douglas again. You'll see it get in a little spot of bother in a minute. Fred Wrigley wasn't driving on this time. There you go. Murray Hill.
And then you had the bit of drain pipe. That's trying to get a drain. What an evil, what a fun. Have a look at them.
There's the old track and the new track. Bit of maintenance on the signal box. Bob with a bit more hair and a grandchild, I'd say.
A temperature of 37 on Saturday. You beaut.
Cleaning up the drop arm saw.
The lake, you'll notice, millimetre all told.
Where's your bucket?
They
Where's your
decided
bucket and
to
spade?
drain the lake to try and find out why it was leaking. There's Bob.
Silicon-based lumps of wood appearing. Would the minister...
That's the island. George claiming on behalf of the railway. These are all filled.
73 passengers, as far as I could count. 73 minimum.
Matthew and James.
Well, that's one train gone.
And Tony.
There's the second. Or should we just keep going?
And Roger and Ken.
Behind in the area where the boys are working now, and this was to cause us trouble just prior to the run on Sunday. It was strengthening the embankment on the lead up to the bridge using the spoil which had been generously donated to us.
And he never misses. Now this was an exercise Bob Standing was in charge of, spreading all this mulch on newspapers. James and Matthew.
Consumed our second shipment of rail, and we now have 62 lengths left out of the original material, which means we will just make it.
Welding the final rail on the main track.
Everybody's getting ready for the final scene. This is not yet the last weld. The last weld comes with a loud hurrah at 3 o'clock exactly. PM.
Cover your face up there. Where's the shovels for you to line on?
Make a bit of noise. Make a bit of movement. Throw your hands up.
Time having been completed on Wednesday the 18th, Saturday the 21st was spent in cleaning up and consolidating.
You'll see some interesting driving in a minute. Peter, Bateman, of course, work on the car park. Whoops. This is laying the track. 1 and 2.
As usual, knowing he won't be here the next working day. for indoor cricket outdoors. And what you see here brought us to the end of the halfway mark in the year. Day the 9th, Road 2 was in and completed.
The fence was later
Road
moved
1
back
was
for
in,
platform
but
1.
still needed a little bit of ballasting and quite a lot of surface grinding.
There's James doing his death-defying act. And Matthew doing the same.
To see the first train, be it Jeff or the diesel, that makes a complete passenger carrying run the first time on an all-steel track. It turns out to be the diesel. I might mention now that Jeff's rolling stock fouled the concrete too. The last length of track on Wednesday, July the 16th.
This is for
All ready
platform
to come
2.
out and go in on platform 2 on road 3. The last length. It's like asphalt. So we hired an electric percussion drill
Neil Howey.
with striking bit and spade, and Cameron is here demonstrating its use. Ken Brown was a bit upset. I didn't get the camera when he was using it. Is welded.
We had 3 good welders in those days: Fred, Jeff and Charlie.
And here is the 7-inch. Now only 3 people saw this: the welder, his assistant, and
We've been sent to Coventry, Jeff, that's the trouble.
it's the finished job. The finished job. We'll take you up and show you the last welding.
Right, they're beginning to put the track around the back of the carriage shed. Obviously hasn't got the foundations for heavy work though.
We move now to the end of the first week in September. There's too much green grass.
Some of it is algae.
But you could pick it up and walk it away with it if you wanted to.
There's Talbot, Larry Hazel, one of the AGMs. Irrepressible.
Carriage shed where we need a set of points, and it might be appropriate here to go back 9 years, and see what it looked like then.
This is 88.
For the old young'uns.
Kenwick's up the ladder. Tom Thorpe back to us. There he is. Fred on top. Canelliot behind him. Now these are the foundations for the containers.
That's a good mix. 3 working, 3 watching. Dressed with ballast to look a bit like a brand new cemetery or some sort.
There's Bill Abbott all dressed up. The truck had about 3 or 4 goes to get up this. This is the last one. Bit of a run, there he is. Now the crane couldn't reach far enough for a single lift, and it has to have 2 bites of the cherry. You'll see it be moved later. That's Neil Oxley on top of the container, attaching the cables. Ken Elliott on one of the ropes. Right, that's as far as it got the first time. Now the truck's moved into a new position.
Geez, front end was up. Is working, Talbot's working, glorious sunshine, and the sun's working.
This is the lake drying out again.
I'm right on there.
Foundations for the compressor.
The 40 degrees caused the painting to be knocked off. Even
did that?
I thought that looks nice. Turned out to be a success.
They moved the weir pump.
$2,200 collected. 2 days later, on the Sunday, which was a run day, it was a miserable flop, thanks due to wet the weir pump to its new location, and at the same time took the Victorian.
We also moved a new cabinet for the compressor around to the other side of the clubhouse. Strawberries have to be carried.
On Wednesday, the 22nd of April, by Wednesday, May the 27th, it looked like this.
This was a big
May
job.
has been
There
rather
were
a quiet
dozens
month
and
for
dozens
various
had to be
reasons. We haven't
painted.
progressed as much as we would like. Fred has been ill in hospital, is now back home.
Now this was a very early morning run they had, 5 o'clock, breakfast and people stumbling around in the dark. This is from the G class. I don't know who's driving that.
The clock tells the truth, but the next scene's 7.
James, Matthew,
Putting good use to old railway stations.
Dick Travers, George.
Today, the 17th, some of us thought there was snow on the ground. It was starting to get cold, but it was only Parks and Gardens who, having poisoned our northeastern and eastern slopes, were now laying what looks like a second-class carpet underlay on it, preparatory to planting trees. Are about ready to start placing some forms. I didn't realise it at the time. They were going to put concrete in almost immediately. No one had made any arrangements to get trowels or any tools for finishing off. The one at the back was, oh, there's our gardeners having their lunch while we're